Product provided by Nintendo. ARMS is Nintendo's newest IP and Nintendo Switch exclusive coming out later this June. I've had the game for a few days now along with my playtime on the public test punch, and I wanted to share my first impressions of the game before I post my full review next week. So ARMS is Nintendo's new Splatoon, if you will, their new IP that's really focused on online multiplayer. The basic explanation of the gameplay is a strategic fighting game that has you plan out and time your punches and dodges as you try to knock out your enemy. At first glance, ARMS looks simple, and it really can be. You choose your fighter and each one comes with 3 different types of arms that you can preset. You can cross-collab these arms to your liking, combining things like a heavy arm that launches more slowly but does more damage, with a lighter arm that launches more quickly but does less damage. There's even different types of elemental arms that leave side effects. They're pretty self-explanatory too. Electric arms can shock you and ice arms can freeze you, for example. Different players have different types of arms too. Jumping into the gameplay, you have 2 options when playing: motion controls and button controls. While I personally think it's pretty easy to learn and use both options, I prefer the button controls myself, though Nintendo heavily pushes players to use the motion controls. Technically both options work, but I found the motion controls to be less accurate and precise when aiming my punches. You see, with the motion controls, you hold the Joy-Con with one in each hand with the buttons facing each other inward. You push forward each Joy-Con to launch your arms at the exact same time. Push forward your right arm and you launch your right arm. Pretty simple. You can also throw curve punches by curving the motion in your punch in real life too. Pushing forward both arms at the exact same time launches a grab, perfect for breaking through anyone's block or guard like any other fighting game. Speaking of which, you can block by holding together the 2 Joy-Cons inward diagonally. As for movement, you can move your character by simultaneously pointing both Joy-Con in a certain direction with a tilt motion. You can also perform a dash attack with the L button and jump with the R button. Holding the dash button will also charge up your punches, making them slightly more powerful, and you'll see the little notification with them glowing. Using a combination of these moves will help you maneuver around your enemy's attacks, but also help close in and line up your own punches towards your enemy. Sometimes you'll be thrown into a party match where multiple enemies are in a single match. In these instances, you can change your target enemy with the press of the D-pad. As you play through a match, you'll see a little white triangle start to build up with every punch you throw. When it finally glows yellow, you'll have a rush attack available, which is essentially the special attack in this game. Pressing the ZR button activates it and lets you throw a quick rush of powerful punches all at once. What I personally don't like about these motion controls is the fact that it's difficult to be precise when you throw a punch using them. Oftentimes in the moment of dodging, rushing, or throwing punches, a curved punch is easily misinputted or not recognized properly. There's also moments where I try to do a grab but end up throwing 2 punches nearly at the same time instead. You get the drift though. These controls work for the most part and are precise for the most part, but not 100%. Plus, I've already taken like 50 accidental screenshots just trying to play the game with motion controls. I feel like the button controls offer a much more precise experience. After throwing a punch, you can curve and control the movement of the arm with the joystick on the controller you're using. You can even use the right joystick to more quickly change your target enemy too. Overall, these controls feel like a much more accessible, quicker to input, and overall just a better experience. Plus, an extra benefit is that you can use these controls at any time. I got to be honest, people on the Amtrak tend to stare at you when you try to play ARMS with motion controls on the train. Shout out to people that follow me on Instagram that saw that post of me playing ARMS with motion controls on the Amtrak. Now, digging into the gameplay, the amount of depth that goes into it can be arguable. When looking at the basics, gameplay is very simple. Imagine a video game version of the Pacific Rim movie where you're controlling a giant mech with extended arms. The strategy of the gameplay pretty much goes like this: dodge your enemy's attacks and throw a punch when they miss a punch and they're left vulnerable. You can block incoming attacks, but you could also be grabbed when doing so choose your moves wisely. It can definitely feel like a cat and mouse game of being attacked, dodge, and throw your own punch, and then repeat. What I think does add a layer of strategy to the gameplay is the different types of arms and the attributes that come along with them. Take for example the Helix character. He has blorb arms, heavy arms that only shoot a short distance, but when they do hit, they splat ink on your enemy's screen, making it hard for them to see incoming attacks for a short period of time. On the opposite end, there's Sparky arms for Ribbon Girl that can shock an enemy when it hits them while still moving a long distance at relatively a fast speed. The different combinations of these arms and the effects they introduce to the gameplay truly is a layer that adds strategy to each match. The fact that you can sort of create a loadout pre-match with 3 different types of arms and then switch the combination up each match, I think is the real metagame for ARMS. Learning the pros and cons of certain arms and specifically the combination matchups against certain arms is I think what a lot of players playing ARMS will eventually end up doing, very much like the loadout sets in Splatoon. Those were just my first impressions of ARMS, but stay tuned for my full review coming out next week. I know a lot of you guys have played the public test bench already, so let me know what you guys think of the game so far based on what you played in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, you can let me know by hitting that like button, and you can get yourself subscribed to be notified when I make more content like this. In fact, you can hit that bell icon to join the notification squad. Thank you all very much for watching, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.